Yeah, so what you can do now is just unwrap everything and take the plastic off. You can kind of get started just to get yourself set up. Just makes it a little less chaotic later. We'll go live in 1 minute. Miss Martin, you have to unmute your microphone if you want to talk. Bottom left.
No, I got it. I was just giving my daughter my old fashioned because I was done with it.
Put her to work. There you go. Welcome to your first cooking class. First virtual cooking class. So everyone knows the salt and pepper we're not going to need. You have it just in case you want to, you would need it, but you can go ahead and set it aside. We're not going to use that today. Kelsey, you can go live now. Jeff, what's going on?
So, you know, look at my work clothes dirty.
Let's do this. There we go. All right. Hey, Laurel.
Hi.
You ready to start cooking?
Yep.
All right. So, eggplant Parmigiana day. By far, probably my favorite thing in the world to eat. When I used to work at Rosebud, I would literally eat eggplant Parmigiana every single day. It was my go-to meal. There's a few different ways to do it. Normally, you see it, it's got breadcrumbs on it and cheese and marinara sauce. The difference with this one, this is a Napolitano style, so there are no breadcrumbs. It's just the, flour and egg. And what that's going to do is give us a nice batter, but it's not going to be that heavy bread-soaked eggplant Parmigiana. Unfortunately, that means that you could eat probably about 5 times as much of it. I know that there were some questions about why you got a whole eggplant. There's a few reasons. One, it's going to shrink down a little when we cook it. This is a 24-count eggplant, the size, so it's not massive, but it's not small either. And two, you want to have some left over. But I want to be able to show you how to use the whole eggplant. So if I sent you a part of it, you wouldn't really get the full experience. So in your kits, you should have oil, marinara, flour, eggs, cheese of 2 types, provolone and Romano, and then the eggplant. Everyone got the tool list I sent out with the email, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we can get started. I'm working on a few different views with that because this is still a, a work in progress, if you would. But I think that with this, you have a pretty good view of what I'm working on here. Let me back this camera up a touch. Okay. So I'm going to take the 2 sauces and set them aside, and the flour, all this stuff. And we're going to focus just on the eggplant. Okay. When you peel an eggplant, there's a few different ways you could do it. You could just come with your peeler and start peeling, and you see how it's a little difficult. What I like to do is take my knife and cut the top and the bottom off. Okay. And now what you're doing is you're giving the peeler somewhere to grab onto. See, so you can actually grip onto something. Now, if you don't have a peeler, at this point, because the bottom's flat, you could stand it up and use a knife and just gently peel it down that way. But for the sake of being responsible and maximizing yield, we're going to use a peeler. So you want to get all the black off. And then this, there's really nothing we can do with it. So normally end up throwing it in the garbage. I said all the black off. There we go. Okay. So let me know when you're at this point.
Not there yet.
Oh my goodness.
This is hard. Yeah.
Hi,
Martha. Sorry.
look, you guys are all going to appreciate what we do here when we're done.
Just say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Let's see what we got going on there.
We're doing a double batch.
That's good.
Now you can do it.
Look at that. Perfect. No black, nice and smooth. They look great.
I'm going.
It's the green. Or is the green okay?
That's a good peeler. Need a good peeler. I keep eating my cheese.
Look. Wow. Nice smooth strokes. Look at that. You keep eating your cheese. That's okay. There's plenty of cheese. I always put a few extra pieces because I figure it's going to not heat.
Chef, we have a serious class today. Everyone has a glass of wine.
Well, that as you should. I mean, I know I always cook. I always drink when I cook at work. Okay, so you guys are wrapping up the cutting. I'm going to get to the next step. A few different things you can do. You can lay your eggplant down and cut slices like this. Now that's one way, but realize that you're going to have to fry a lot more pieces off if they're small discs. If you stand it up straight, you can cut straight down. It's a little more awkward, but we're going to cut half as many pieces. When you do this, long, smooth strokes, and let the knife just kind of go through the eggplant. Eggplant's soft, so it'll make its way through. Now, if you're wondering how thick we're cutting this, good. About the handle of a fork. I guess that doesn't work because that's a fancy fork and not like a normal fork. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to fill my bowl with the flour. I won't go too far ahead, I promise. And then in the other bowl, I'm going to start cracking the eggs.
You have the weekend off, Chef?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I do. Spend it with the kids. We'll play in the backyard. Looking forward to it.
How's your new baby?
Oh, she's great. She is perfect.
Oh, that's good.
How many eggs, Chef?
There's 6. I would go ahead and use all of them.
6 per eggplant?
Actually, if you're doing 2, I would do probably 8 eggs.
Okay.
We can always add more.
What should our oven be preheated to, Chef?
375.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then what we're going to do next is actually get a pan on the stove on a low heat. But you have a minute for that. So when you guys crack those eggs, go ahead and beat them. Oh, I got cracked egg on my gloves. Gross. I wear gloves all the time, and I don't think I've ever worn gloves as much in my life as I am right now. Not because of the cooking class, it's just everything in life. All right, so let me know when you guys are caught up.
Okay.
We good?
Hey,
All right, so we're gonna take that eggplant, and then what you wanna do is get a nice, generous coating on each piece, okay? You wanna make sure you get all the raw eggplant parts. What's gonna happen is the natural waters in the eggplant are gonna stick to the flour, or the flour is gonna stick to the natural waters in the eggplant, and then you just drop it right in that beaten egg.
what's in the other bowl? Nothing?
Flour, and the other one's beaten egg, the eggs.
Got it. I'm doing it this way.
Now, some people salt their eggplant. They say it removes the bitterness, but I find that if you do this process, the cooking it and then the baking it in the sauce, I think any natural bitterness that's there is actually quite delicious. So I don't normally salt my eggplant ahead of time.
Hey, Chef, I'm sorry. I think I missed a part. I was getting my pans out. Dip it in egg and then flour.
No, flour and then the egg.
Oh,
So,
and then
so
just in there.
yep. So you want it to, I'll show you now. You want to have a nice egg coating.
And then just
See,
right in there.
you can leave it in there because we're going to cook it in this egg batter. We're not going into anything else.
Thank you.
So let it float in the egg.
Yeah, just make sure it's completely coated. Now, the reason I like to leave them in the bowl is it's just a lot less mess. And you'll see when we start cooking them.
Why would you leave them out?
You want me to unmute?
There we go.
I got the oil started. Start browning.
Perfect. Let me know when you guys are ready and we'll move on to the next step.
Just go like, once we get
Why do we leave them in the egg?
What's that?
Why do we leave them in the egg bowl?
Because you see, we're going to go right from the egg bowl into the pan. So Yeah, otherwise you're transferring, you're gonna have egg dripping everywhere. So this is just gonna keep it a lot cleaner.
You hear that?
What?
You're running out of room in the bowl, I feel like. It's okay, just move them to the side, basically.
Yeah, move them to the side, or when these are frying up, you could dip other ones into the bowl.
Probably common sense to you, I understand.
I never judge. I always learn a new technique and stuff. So
I think the amount of egg that's going in there. You don't
He's
get
got 2 pans of oil going.
Well,
all right. So once our pan has a nice heat to it, at this point you can turn it up to like a medium. We're gonna add our oil. Only start with about half the oil.
Okay.
We don't want to make use a ton of oil and there be a giant mess. And we want to make sure we have oil to add because some of this eggplant is going to suck up that oil. And then get your sheet pan next to your cookie tin so you have somewhere to go when the eggplant is done frying. Okay?
Let me get you a bowl.
so over.
Now, for those of you that were in the pork chop class, the good way to test if your oil is ready is you just hold your thing over, your eggplant over,
Just put it back.
and you see when the egg drops in if it's cooking. And you can see this one has started frying up a little bit. So if you put your eggplant in your pan before it's hot enough, before it starts coagulating right away, it's going to stick and your crust isn't going to stick to your eggplant. So take your tongs once your oil's ready and go ahead and drop your eggplant right in there. I'll show you in a second what that looks like.
Those, like, spoon,
Put them in the middle, medium.
and then medium.
Okay.
Wait for the egg thing to just become white egg. Remember?
Mhm.
I didn't close.
No.
They'll get close up.
It's so funny.
It said the whole spotlight
yours?
is your video.
Yeah.
Someone's picking on you.
Yes.
Sorry, we're drinking our old fashions.
As you should, that was a great video. They did a great job with
And trying
Yes.
to cook.
And
see-
try to cook.
it.
There's 3 of us. Come on, Martha, get in here. I
I'm
w-
not helping.
Yeah, I'm not helping. I'm just here for support.
All right. Now my eggs looks.
You guys doing all right?
Yeah, I have a small pan. This is gonna take me a while.
And that's okay. This is the longest and messiest step of this entire process, this entire dish.
No one flip them?
See.
So you're gonna flip them when they get a nice light golden brown color. And now this is all based on the color of the egg because there is no, I wonder if it's cook point, because again, this is gonna go in the oven. So the eggplant's gonna continue to cook too. But you see that nice golden brown color? That's when we're flipping. Now you can imagine how much work this is when we're doing 30 or 40 pans of eggplant at a time. we had an event where we did 14 cases of eggplant for the event. It was insane. And we had one guy all day just slicing and frying eggplant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, poor guy.
Is this something that can be frozen? Because it's just me and I want to be able to.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So now you can actually assemble the whole dish, and before you bake it, you can freeze it. The other thing you can do is, say you're sitting at home and you're like, oh, I want to eat eggplant parm tomorrow. You can fry these pieces off today, and tomorrow build it and bake it. You know, if time is an issue or anything like that.
That's good to know for dinner party.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're taking these out, give them a little jiggle over the pan so you're not pulling as much oil out of the pan. Or yeah, and spilling oil everywhere. And then you can just go right on in with your next ones. And again, make sure that the eggplant has a nice coating of the egg on it. So I kid you not, I actually had someone argue with me one time that eggplant was not vegan because it was egg. Not this dish, actual eggplant. Which was an interesting conversation. So your second batch, and if you're doing this third batch, fourth batch, those are gonna cook a lot quicker because your oil is gonna have a more consistent heat and it's gonna be a little bit dirtier, if you would, so it'll brown faster. There's gonna be more particles in the oil to help conduct the heat. Everyone's oven's at 375, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, one thing you can see as the eggplant sits, it continues to cook. So now it's like a soft, malleable, it moves around. Something you can do with this is say you wanted to make stuffed eggplant rolls. You can put a ricotta filling in here or meat or anything and roll it up. And then just bake them in the oven. So this is what we do, the same thing for our eggplant rolls when we do those. Laurel, it would be safer with tongs, just so you know. You'd have less of a chance of the oil jumping up at you.
I don't have tongs.
Okay. But just so you know for the future, if you were going to do it again, yeah, a cheap pair of tongs is like $3 if you're ever out and you see them to grab them. It's like an extension of my hand. All right. So I'm going to pull all mine out. Mine are all done.
Hey, can we use this big pan, eggplant and stuff, can you bake it in or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? One less dish to do.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's very smart.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Makes up for all my other dumb questions.
A little bit.
You're unmuted.
Oh, hi.
Hi,
I'm working on it.
looking good. So our next step, I know you guys are still frying, so I'm just going to show you how I'm getting ready. We're not going to get started until you're ready. But we have the marinara, the provolone, the romano, and the eggplant. And this is what we need to actually build the eggplant parm. Get a better angle. There we go.
I so wish I could have friends over for dinner.
I know. But I mean, think of all this stuff you're going to be able to do though now after all these classes.
That's true.
Maybe I'll leave the club and just start a virtual cooking business.
That's what we thought.
You know, we've been talking about that. I mean, this is amazing in your own home, and I love it.
It's great. You know, they started those master classes a few years ago, and I've taken some of them. I shouldn't say taken, they're just videos you watch, but it's a really cool platform, and this is kind of the next level of it.
Yeah, I hope you continue this.
Me too. It's been fun. I plan on it. All right.
Marinara.
So I'm going to start building the eggplant parm.
And then what? I'm sorry, but what pan does this go into? I do like
So you can honestly put it right in that foil pan that we gave you if you want. That was a great idea. I'm just using a little metal pan. You can use a cookie sheet. You can use a saute pan. You can use whatever you want.
I do a glass.
Yeah, if it's a bakeable glass, sure. It's just gonna be a little more of a mess. All right, so first thing is gonna be a nice light coating of the marinara on the bottom. Okay. And then we're gonna do a piece of the eggplant. A little bit more sauce, so almost paint it. You see how it's not a heavy, heavy layer? If it's too much sauce, it's gonna slide all over the place when you eat it. We want it to stick together.
I don't know if we're doing that right now.
Take a piece of cheese and break it in half. We good to this point?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're gonna do it again. So the sauce is the moisture, the cheese is the glue. And then what I do is if I have one piece of eggplant going this direction, where it's the thin side, the next one I'll flip over so that it's a little bit more uniform of a piece.
Okay.
A little more sauce.
Sauce, cheese, sauce, yeah.
Yep. And a little bit of Romano on the second one. I don't use Romano on every layer because it can get a little salty.
How high are you gonna stack them if we're using the big pan?
As high as you possibly want. So you can go 3 high and make 2 stacks. You could go 5 high and make 1 stack, whatever works for you, whatever you like.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong way to stack it.
Oh.
I mean, my way is obviously the right way, but you know. So I'm doing 4 high.
Move that, are you done with that?
Oh, man. Got a layer of cheese. Okay. Now for the top, a little bit heavier on the sauce because you want to have those big chunks of tomato in there. It's just going to give texture to the dish. And then I drape the cheese all over. So I'm using 3 full slices on the top and then sprinkle the Romano. And I'm going to throw this in the oven and then we can walk you guys through yours as you're building them, okay? Give me just 1 second. So out of that 1 stack, all I have left are 3 pieces of eggplant. So I can make a small stack for leftovers, or I could save these and use them, make an eggplant sandwich, Parm sandwich tomorrow, or like I said, fill them and roll them, or just snack on them like this. I love eggplant like this.
Oh, so good.
It is so good. And then like you sprinkle it with a little bit of salt, because at this point there's no seasoning because the marinara sauce has so many flavors and seasonings. But if I'm going to sit and just kind of snack on this, I'll just add a little bit of salt. I could eat this all day. Mm.
In each layer, chef, are you only putting the marinara sauce on top of a piece of eggplant?
Yeah, right on top of the eggplant, because we're going to put a little bit on the plate too when we serve it. Okay. So marinara and provolone, and every other layer you're adding Romano.
Then the very top is what?
Just heavy with the provolone cheese. So I use 3 full slices on top of the top layer. Because you want, as it melts, it kind of drapes over the sides of the eggplant a little.
How high do you stack it?
As high as you like. I did mine 5 high. You could do 3 high. You could do, 8 high. You could go as big or as little as you want. I like 5 high because I like to eat through a lot of eggplant, but that's a personal preference.
Okay, and then you said at the top, you put extra cheese on the tippy top with a little sauce?
Correct. So put a generous layer of sauce on the top, making sure you get some of those tomato chunks in there as well, so it has some texture. And then 3 slices of cheese, or however many, just to evenly cover the entire top of the eggplant parm.
This looks so good.
Does it? Let me see.
Um,
Oh yeah. See, Jeff has this whole setup looking like a cooking show. He's got his camera right on his pans. He knows what he's doing over there.
I thought that was you for a minute.
Yeah, how do we get our?
See, so in the beginning, it looked like a ton of food, but then when you actually do this up, it just looks like one large portion of eggplant parm. So it's kind of deceiving when you look at the entire eggplant, but you can easily divide it up to be 2 portions. It just depends on how much you prefer.
What's in the sauce? Did you already say? I'm sorry.
It's marinara sauce, so garlic, tomatoes, basil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of granulated garlic. That's it. I like to keep mine super simple. I love that clean tomato flavor. I don't like when it has oregano and carrots and wine, and it should just be about tomatoes, garlic, and basil.
Oh, good.
So chef, because I have so many slices of eggplant, should I like take a Pyrex baking dish and maybe do 3 piles within that dish?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. It's a great idea.
Put it in.
Again, all you're doing is pushing heat on the eggplant as it bakes. So it doesn't matter how it's arranged. It's whatever's aesthetically pleasing to you. It's just a matter of how it's controlled as it goes through. The heat's going to penetrate. And we just want the heat to penetrate in enough time before that cheese burns, which is why we don't want to go too tall with the stack.
Where's the rest of our sauce?
There it is, yeah. I didn't get the one in
Let me check and see how mine's looking.
Because we're doing a double batch, how long should we cook it? Should we cook it longer?
You were doing it in the pan that it came in.
We are going to be eating eggplant soon. Who else has theirs in the oven right now?
Not me. I'm doing a double batch, so I'm still frying, getting ready to do it. But I want to know how long do you bake it in an oven for?
So you see, I put mine in. It all depends on how tall you're going. I put mine in. It's probably going to take 8 or 9 minutes. If you're doing a full pan where it's all stacked up like a casserole style, that could take up to 40 minutes. If you're just going 2 or 3 high, it just depends. It's probably 10 minutes.
Okay, because I'm doing a double batch in the big pan with all the marinara, so I was just asking about how long I should be cooking it for. So
we're cooking till it's heated, till it's hot all the way through, because the eggplant's pretty much cooked already. The sauce is cooked. If it's hot through, it means the cheese is melted. So that should be more than enough to actually get this done.
okay,
Cool. Thanks.
thank you.
Of course.
Freeze well, you said. 'Cause I just-
So you freeze it at the point you're at right now before you put it in the oven. And then you, like a lot of times, if I make this and freeze it, I'll put it in aluminum foil pans, like what I sent you. There's different sizes you could get, and then you just pull them out and bake them as you go.
Sorry, how long in the oven did you say?
How many layers did you do?
I did approximately 4.
4. So about 10 minutes.
Oh,
10
that's
to
it?
12 minutes. If it's just one stack, yeah, about 10 to 12 minutes. But here, I'm going to pull mine out now and you'll be able to see. So give me 1 second.
3 stacks in that big pan though.
Well, the number of stacks doesn't matter because you're still just going through the same amount of thickness.
Of course, I knew that.
Well, that's what you were telling me earlier.
Right, remember?
Oh, I can't forget. I'll be right back.
I'm short a slice of cheese. I ate too much in the beginning, Laurel. I was taking your lead.
Had to.
Had to. Shoot.
So I want mine to cook for about 2 more minutes because I want to get that golden bubble on the crust. Do you guys have any questions right now?
Bring it around.
What's that?
Looking good.
There's some audio breaking up. I can't hear whoever that was. John, I think.
Nope, I'm good.
Something about cheese.
Well, that was Mark. We're good. Oh, I'm eating that.
So Dwayne Clark is watching live on Facebook and wants to say hi to everyone. You guys better give him a shout out. Everyone say hi, Dwayne.
Hey, Dwayne.
All right, let me go grab this eggplant and I'm going to show you what this is going to look like.
I have a lot of oil left over.
Is that it? Oh, good.
Now, a few things to note. Number 1, the pan that you had in the oven will be hot. So what I like to do is take a little more of the marinara sauce and put it at the bottom of the plate. And this is just so you have a saucy, gooey mess of eggplant, you know? Then I'm going to take the eggplant right off this platter and transfer it.
Oh, man.
You guys could see.
That's beautiful. Now, how long did you cook that in the oven for?
I mean, it was in there for what, 10 minutes? And I have a more powerful oven than you guys do. So it'll probably take probably about 12 minutes in yours.
So you're guessing a stack like that, this is my hand, 12 minutes for this?
Yeah, because you're just pushing heat through. If you lift these layers up, you'll see the cheese is melted all the way through. And it's hot.
All right, we're going in.
You ready?
So we're doing the whole thing. Whoa, don't want to do it.
All right, the berries are loaded up.
Oh, good.
You know, the best part about these classes is like, it's like the opposite because I get to sit back here and eat while you guys are doing all the work. It's kind of nice. Feels good.
Now, Chef, I take it you made that tomato sauce?
Yes. Yep, that's our sauce. And we're actually going to, not this coming week, but the following one, we'll have it available in the market. And I will get the recipes posted as well. I'm going to do a how to make a marinara sauce video that we can accompany with the recipe. So you can see how we make ours.
You're way better than Masterclass.
I love the platform of Masterclass. So, I mean, I got to learn, you know, so much stuff. I got to watch how Aaron Franklin smokes a brisket and Thomas Keller, you know, does certain things. I mean, there's some really awesome things that unless I'm flying out there and sitting on their front porch hoping that they'll spend some time with me, I wouldn't normally get to see.
Yeah.
We've been watching it with the kids as to supplement their school studies.
Yeah, it's great.
You like this one?
So, is everyone eggplant parm experts now?
Feels like it.
Seems so easy when you do
Yeah,
it.
experienced amateurs.
Sauce.
Good.
That cheese too.
Mhm.
Now, this sauce, I mean, obviously, this is just a basic marinara sauce. You could use it if you're making chicken parm. You can use it to make pasta. Sometimes I put some in my hair. That's what gives this gorgeous shine here. So, yeah, it has a lot of value.
Just so you know.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was. All right. Sauce.
Do what? Do we need a couple more pieces in there? Take that one off, break it in half, and cover up 2 spots.
There's a bunch of cheese left. We can.
There is extra cheese left. So you can make it again. But I wanted to make sure you guys had more cheese than less. So you can eat it.
Freeze it.
It's provolone. It's delicious. Yeah, you can freeze it.
See?
Put it in an omelet. You can do whatever you want with it. So what kind of classes do you guys want to see?
Dessert.
So I got one on Friday coming.
Perfect.
We're going to make an apple tart to 10.
I'll be there.
She's leaving to go back to Miami of Ohio and Oxford. So
I'll still be there online.
she'll be online.
There you go.
We're working together in the kitchen.
Well, the great thing is these classes are all saved. These videos are saved on Facebook. So you can reference them again in the future. Some people that haven't been able to make some of our classes have still bought the meal kit and then made it later watching the Facebook video.
Yeah.
Great.
My aunt and uncle are gonna do that.
Nice.
Yes.
Anyone's ready to come out of the oven yet?
We got about 9 minutes left.
We haven't even gotten ours in. We're making a double batch. We're still
Agreeing with it.
making sure we got enough sauce.
Make sure we got enough cheese.
Yes.
Well, I have fun with it. That's the whole point. I mean, we're just cooking and relaxing and having fun. It's a great thing. It's great to be able to do. I cook when I go home because I love it. It's relaxing. Even at work, the physical act of cooking is pretty relaxing.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
It'd be fun to see like a pot roast or maybe some vegetable pot roasts with like different types of meat in it. Oh, why?
Okay.
Okay.
That's ours.
Ooh, that looks nice.
Let's see. Can we spotlight that?
Double batch.
Here, spread the cheese.
Sprinkle.
There you go.
Really good.
Oh, yeah. Look at that technique. Fantastic.
Which technique?
The cheese sprinkling technique. You're like a pro.
Uh,
And he's a lefty, so that's even better.
Awesome.
so there we go. We're figuring about 25 minutes on this.
Is that one smooth layer or is it
2 layers.
2 layers? Okay. It might not take even that long.
All right.
Because it's not that thick.
Right. So I'll do maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, just do it till your cheese is golden brown and bubbly, and then it's going to be done.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay?
Yeah.
You guys enjoy, eat it, love it. If you have any other questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me. You've all gotten my email. And thank you. Have fun. Hopefully, I'll see you soon.
Yes, you will.
Great.
Thanks. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Great job, guys. Thank you. You too. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.